Only about 15% of people have self-awareness, who know themselves, who are aware of how they are moving and showing up throughout in the world. That means 85% of people are not aware, don't have self-awareness. You need to have self-awareness if you're gonna achieve anything. If you're gonna grow, if you're gonna reach your potential, you gotta be aware. You gotta be aware of who you are, you gotta be aware of where you are, and you gotta be aware of where you're going. You need to know yourself. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about awareness. But I don't want to just talk about awareness just to talk about awareness. It's a reason why I want to talk about awareness, because I believe awareness is important if we're going to grow. I believe awareness is important if we're going to realize and reach our potential. I believe awareness is important if we're going to achieve any level of success. You have to be aware. You have to have some awareness. And the reason why, and I know this sounds simple, saying that you need to be aware, you need to have awareness. But before you think that, it's not as simple as you think. It's not, having awareness is not as simple as you think. Because I read something a while ago that says, it was a statistic that said only about 15% of people have self-awareness. People who know themselves, people who are aware of how they show up in the world, people who are aware of the things that they do, of the decisions that they make, of the way they just go out through life. Only about 15% of people are aware of how they treat other people, of how they treat themselves, and of how they do the things that they do, whether they're annoying or not. Some people don't even know that they're annoying, right? And so only about 15% of people actually have self-awareness, who know themselves, who are aware of how they are moving and showing up throughout in the world. So that leaves what? The rest, what is it? 85%? I don't know. I don't do math. But 85% of people, that means 85% of people are not aware, don't have self-awareness. And that's why I want to talk about that today, is because you need to have self-awareness if you're going to achieve anything. If you're going to grow, if you're going to reach your potential, you got to be aware. You got to be aware of who you are. You got to be aware of where you are, and you got to be aware of where you're going. You need to know yourself. That's basically what it boils down to. You need to know who you are. And so many people don't know who they are. So many people don't. And I remember a time when I didn't know who I was. I remember that. I remember when I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I wanted out of life. I didn't know. I knew I wanted something. I knew I wanted to achieve my potential. I knew I wanted to reach my potential. I knew I wanted to reach some of the goals that I set for myself, but I didn't really know who I was. I didn't. I did not know who I was. And just because today I have some self-awareness about who I am and what I want and where I'm going, it's still an ongoing thing. Who am I in this season of my life? As you accomplish things and as life goes on, you got to always be aware of, okay, who am I today? Who am I in this season? Who am I right now? How am I showing up right now? What are some of the things that I'm doing right now? You need to know that, because when things change, when seasons change, you change. Who you are in another season is not going to serve you when it's a new season and you need to be something different, right? And so it's all about knowing who you are and having that awareness of who you are so that you can achieve and accomplish your goals and do the things that you want to do the things that you have been purposed to do. And that's another thing. People don't know their purpose because they don't even know who they are. Some people are trying to find their purpose, but it's hard for you to find your purpose if you don't know who you are. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself, but that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about knowing yourself, knowing who you are, because you have to know yourself to grow yourself. Now, let's talk about, now here's the thing. It's about having a sense of direction. I want to ask you, do you have a sense of direction? Do you have a sense of direction? Where are you going? Now, I'm not talking about direction as far as geographically, because I'm the worst. That I don't have a sense of direction when it comes to driving around, navigating, on the streets. Like, I'm the worst. I will get lost in a minute. I need GPS all the time because I will get lost. I have a horrible sense of direction when it comes to driving somewhere and things like that. If I go to a new building, it takes me a while to learn a new building. So I have a horrible sense of direction. I get lost. I need to I need a map to tell me where I'm at in the building. That reminds me of, how you're in a mall, and the mall has the map in the mall, and if you want to find where you're going, you look at the map. But the first thing that the map tells you is you are here. It has a little icon that says you are here. And you need to know that. You need to know that you are here so you can know where you're going. Because if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going. You're not going to be able to navigate to where you need to be if you don't even know who you are. So even a map in the mall tells you to know who you are first, to know where you are first before you can go anywhere else. And so, but when I talk about sense of direction, I'm talking about a sense of direction in your life. Like, where are you headed in your life? Like, do you have direction and guidance and a focus for where you need to go in life? That's what I'm talking about when I ask, do you have a sense of direction? Do you know where you're going? And do you know where you are right now so that you can know where you're going? That's what we're talking about today. You see, I found that there are, when it comes to a sense of direction, I found that there are three different types of people when we talk about having a sense of direction. The first type of people is the first type of person is people who don't even know what they would want to do. People who don't know what they want to do in life. I call these people confused. These people are confused. They do not know what they want to do in life. They're just confused. They're just living day by day and waking up in the morning with no sense of purpose or direction or what they're going to do. They're just kind of letting the day guide them. Just whichever way the wind blows, that's what they'll do. So those people are confused. People who do not know what they want to do. The other group of people, the second group of people, is people who know what they want to do, but they don't do it. They know what they want to do, but they don't do it for whatever reasons. I'm sure there's a wide variety of reasons why people who know what they want to do, but they don't do it. Whether it's they don't do it because they have fear, whether they don't do it because they don't have the money, they don't have the courage to do it, or whether they worried about what people are going to think about them, or I don't know. There's a bunch of reasons. There's a bunch of reasons why people can know what they want to do and not do it. And those people are what you would call frustrated. Those people are frustrated because they know what they want to do. They have a sense of what they want to do. But and some of them even they know that God has told them to do this specific thing. They know that God has told them you have a calling on your life in this area or that area. They know that. Some of them know that, but they don't do it for whatever reason. And that makes you really frustrating. That makes it really frustrating. Right? I'll say this, there's also people who know what they want to do, but for whatever reason, it feels like other people are holding them back from doing what they want to do. I will acknowledge that. Other people might be holding you back from what you want to do. But I also believe that there's a way around that also. There is a way around it also. I mean, you might have a job to take care of yourself and pay your bills, but that may not be the job that you really want to do. But right now, you have some things that you need to take care of, and you're not able to step out and to do something else that you were called to do, or you feel that is your purpose to do. And I understand that, and that makes you frustrated. That definitely makes you frustrated when you know you have a calling and a purpose to do something else, but right now you're not able to fully do that because you have to work your current job in order to make ends meet, in order to make a living and provide for your family. I understand that. I definitely understand that. But it does. But with all that said, it still is frustrating. It still is very, very frustrating. And then you got the third group of people. The third group of people are people who are actually, they know what they want to do and they actually do it. They know what they want to do, they do it. They know what their purpose is and they live in their purpose. They know what their calling is and they live in their calling. They know exactly what they want to do and they've been living their life in that way, doing what they want to do. And that's a very small group of people, unfortunately. But I would call those people are fulfilled. They're fulfilled. That's what people are looking to when they think about how do I live a life of fulfillment. Is being able to do what you want to do, is being able to know what you want to do and actually do what you want to do. That is a life of fulfillment. But here's the thing. Like I said, those people who are fulfilled, that's a small group of people, percentage wise. Most people are either people who don't know what they want to do and they're confused, or they know what they want to do and they're frustrated. Most people, and probably more people are confused than they are just knowing what they want to do and frustrated. I would say that. I would say first it's the fulfilled people, then it's the frustrated people who know what they want to do but can't do it, and then the vast majority of everybody else is people who do not know what they want to do at all. They're just confused. They don't know which way to go. They have no sense of direction. And that's who I want to talk. That's what I want to talk about today. That's the basically the target audience for this message that I have today. And like I said, you got to know yourself in order to grow. In order to grow to your potential, you have to know yourself. But here's the thing. It's kind of a catch-22. It's crazy because I say you got to know yourself to grow yourself and to reach your potential, but you have to grow in order to know who you are. And the reason why that's a true statement is because I found as I've learned and grown over the years, as I've learned and grown, I have realized that I know more about myself. And then when I know more about myself, I realize I have much more growing to do. And so the more you know, the more you'll grow. But also the more you grow, the more you need to know who you are. And so it works both ways. So you have to do them both together. You have to know who you are, find out who you are in order to grow, but you also have to grow in order to know who you are. Because if you don't grow, you're not going to have that self-awareness. And so that's the thing. You need to grow in your level of self-awareness in order to even know who you are, so that you can grow and reach your potential. Now, the biggest question that people always ask, everybody asks this question: how do I find my passion? How do I find my purpose? Like like I said before, most people want to be in that third category to where you're fulfilled, to where you know what you want to do, and you know what you want to do, and you actually do it. Most people want to be in that third category to where you know what you want to do, and you actually do what you want to do, so that you can be fulfilled, so that you can live a fulfilling life. And most people want to achieve that. But the thing about it is, in order to be fulfilled, in order to do what you want to do, you have to know what you want to be able to do. You have to know what your purpose is. And so that's the biggest question that a lot of people ask: how do I find my passion? How do I find my purpose? How do I do that? Because unlike some people grow up and they know what their passion is from 2 years old. From 2 years old on up, they just know what they were created to do. They just know that I think of, Peyton Manning, the Manning brothers, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. I mean, from a very young age, you can see videos of them, with football jerseys on and throwing footballs in the yard. They knew early on what they were going to be here to do. They knew early on. Now, yeah, they had a father who was also in the NFL, Archie Manning. They had a father that was also in the NFL, and play football. So, you know, that helped surely. But from a very young age, they knew what they wanted to do. And there's some other people like that as well. But the thing is, the vast majority of people are not like that. The vast majority of people have to live life. They have to grind it out. They have to make a bunch of mistakes. They have to go through a bunch of trial and error to find out actually what their purpose is. That's how most of us are. That's how I am. That's how I was. I had to live life to find out what my purpose was. I didn't know what my purpose was until I was in my 30s. I did not know at all. And so that's most of us. Most of us are not blessed to know what we want to do from a young age. And so this question comes, okay, well, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my purpose? And let me just say this: your purpose is like a guiding vision for your life. It's a guiding vision that's at the core of the reason that all significant activities in your life happen. So it's like that guiding vision for what you do, how you make decisions. Because once you know your purpose, you make decisions based on that. You do everything based on your purpose. When you know your purpose, you won't do things and you won't make decisions that's contradictory to your purpose. So it is important to know your purpose so that you can make the right decisions, so that you can make the right decisions about the people that you be around. The people that you let in your life, you can make the right decisions on these people based on knowing your purpose, right? And so your purpose is I would say it's like a self-organizing principle based on passions, your competency, and it's not a goal. Like, it's different from having a goal. A goal is more detailed. It's more like a goal is something that you kind of go after. That's not what it is. Your purpose is more like a guiding umbrella that covers everything that you do in your life. Your life purpose, and I will say this. Your life purpose might change in your life too. It might change once or twice or a couple of times. You know, your life purpose may change depending on how you change, depending on where God has you in your life in different seasons. Your purpose can change. Or the way you live out your purpose can change. I will say it that way. The way you live out your purpose can change. Now, some people, like I said, people search all their lives for their purpose. And unfortunately, some people probably never really find it. Some people never really find their purpose. You know, and I don't want to be that. Like, I don't want to be like that, and I don't want that for you. I want you to find your purpose because I want you to live a life of fulfillment. I want you to live a life of meaning. And in order to have meaning and fulfillment, you have to know your purpose. You have to be able to live in your purpose, because it's going to be frustrating if you're not, right? And so you have to know your purpose. And so let me give you a couple of suggestions that might help you. Now this may help you find your purpose. You have to ask yourself this question: what is bigger than you? Like, what is something that is bigger than you? What is it? Finding something that's bigger than you, that's bigger than yourself, means not confining to your own wants and your own wishes. Because here's the thing. Sometimes we're human beings and we're full of emotions. And our emotions get the best of us. And a lot of times we don't feel like doing things. Because here's the thing. A lot of people get confused about purpose because they think about their feelings. Oh, I don't feel like doing that, so that means I don't have purpose in that. But that's not true. That's not always true. Your feelings are your feelings. You can have purpose and you can be called to do a specific thing, but you may not feel like doing it because you're tired or you're sleepy or you're angry or whatever. Those are emotions. So you need to be able to not get confused with how you feel and what you're supposed to do. Because even I can tell you this, even with living in my purpose, sometimes I don't always feel like doing something. I speak and I teach, but sometimes I may not feel like speaking or teaching. That doesn't mean it's not my purpose. It's still my purpose. I could be tired. I can be in my feelings about something. I can be going through something in a relationship or something like that, and which causes problems, and it causes you to not feel like you can do what you need to do in that moment. So your feelings have nothing to do with your purpose. And so I just want to say that because a lot of people get confused because they may not feel like doing something, and they think, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do that because I don't feel like doing it. That's not the case. That's not the case. Your purpose is going to be something that's bigger than you. It's going to be bigger than you, and you're going to be able to live in that purpose regardless of how you feel. So think about that. So committing yourself to something that's bigger than you, that you consider more significant than yourself, it could help you define your sense of purpose. It could help you find your purpose. When you start thinking about what is something that's bigger than me that I submit myself to. You also may find your purpose by exploring your life, like exploring your life, like spiritually. Explore your life spiritually. Like what are your even politically? What are your views? Now, I'm not talking about, this ain't about politics necessarily, but your political views lets you know what you care about. It just really lets you know what you care about. So look at that. Like what are your views? Because that lets you know what you care about. Like how do you look at life philosophically? Like what is your philosophy on some things? What is your philosophy on life? What is your philosophy on relationships? What is your philosophy on work? Like what is your philosophy? What is your philosophy on education or whatever it may be? Think about that. That's a way. Like you can even look at, what do you do for a living? Like why do you do what you do for a living? Do you like it? How did you get into it? Look there. You know, your family. You know, what are social things? Like what is your social awareness? Like what are you aware of that? What kind of social issues or things that you're aware of that you think about on a day-to-day basis? You can start there, because some of these things can reveal your way of thinking and your way of life, and these things can probably help you kind of get closer to finding your purpose. Okay, and the next thing is this: you need to get by yourself, get quiet, and just envision your life right now. Envision the things that you are doing in your life. What are your interests? What are your concerns? Get by yourself and get quiet and just contemplate, just think, just meditate, and just listen to your soul if you can. Just listen carefully to your instincts. Notice some of the things that come up when you just sit quiet. Just sit there real quiet. Notice some of the things that kind of come up in your mind and your spirit. What do you think about? And then when you think about that, like some of the things that you think about, like what is your reaction to them? Like if you think about something and you have a negative reaction, then that might not be it, or it might be. Or if you think about something and your soul and your spirit is saying yes, 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 yes. That's it. What sparks you? What makes you come alive? What are some things that you think about? When you think about it, it just makes you come alive. That's a big clue to what your purpose might be. And so when you do that, I want you to make that a habit. Make that a habit of, you can do that every day. You can do that every day. Make it a habit to spend a few minutes at least just meditating on your interests and your passions. Just sitting there meditating on who you are and what you like to do. And what are some of the things that you care about? What are things that you are concerned about? And then as you do that every day, see what's consistent about what are you thinking? Like, are there any consistent thoughts? And then think about, are there any consistent reactions? Every time you think about this one thing, your soul lights up. Or you say, yeah, that's it. Think about it. Are your reactions consistent? You'll start to see a pattern. Now, the reason why I want you to do that for multiple days, and I don't have a specific time, but it could be days, weeks, months, or whatever. There's no specific time limit, but I want you to do it more than once or twice, is because here's the thing. There's always the potential for something to look good today, and then tomorrow it's not so good. It's not. You might be excited about something today, and tomorrow you might not be excited about that thing at all. And so that's why I want you to take your time with this. Take your time and see what's consistent. What are you thinking about consistently? What are you getting excited about consistently? And as you do this, you might even want to write this stuff down. You might even want to write this stuff. You probably should write this stuff down. You probably can journal. You probably can get you a little notebook, get you a journal, and just kind of journal your thoughts, journal the things that you've been thinking about, and then journal your reactions. Like, oh, this gets me excited. I love this, and then keep doing that, and then you'll have that kind of paper trail of how you've been thinking. But like I said, there's no hurry. Don't get in a hurry about this. Don't take shortcuts because it's not a fast process. You want to take your time and be able to know without a shadow of a doubt, this is what excites me. This is what my passions are. And this could be what my purpose is. The next thing you want to look at is this. You want to look at what are your gifts? What are your gifts? What are your talents? What are your skills? What are your abilities? Like, what have you been blessed with? Because we've all been blessed by God with certain gifts and talents and strengths and abilities and skills. We all have. I don't care who you are. You got something. You got something. You got some ability that I don't have. I have some ability that you don't have. We all have something. It may not all be the same, but we all have something. We all have something that we've been given. We all got gifts and talents that God has given us. Start thinking about those things. What are they? What are your gifts? Now, I'll say this. I know when you talk about your life's purpose, it can sound like these big dreams and goals and big things like that. But and I get it, it's this big profound vision, right? And that's good, and it should be. But the thing about it is, for it to matter, you have to take some action. You have to be able to take action on what you're thinking about. You have to have a mission. And so your mission involves something that you do. It involves something that you do. You might have a vision, but you need to have a mission to do what you need to do. And so that leads to the next thing that I want to encourage that you do. I want to encourage you to do this exercise. Everything we talked about so far is good, but what I want to say next is more practical. It's more actually, okay, how do I practically do this thing? Now, this exercise that I'm about to tell you about is more on the practical side of discovering your life purpose. To find your life purpose, you may want to do like a skills inventory, like inventory your skills and your talents. Inventory your skills and your talents. Because it's not enough to just say, I'm going to dedicate my life to solving world hunger, right? That's a nice goal. That's a nice vision, but it's not enough to just say, I want to work on solving world hunger. Like, okay, how? Like, what kind of skills do you have to do that? Like, how do you want to do that? Do you have any leadership abilities? Do you have any communication skills? Do you have any fundraising skills? Do you have any organizational skills? Do you have more than one skill? Like, make a list of things that you can do to solve world hunger. Like, how are you going to solve world hunger? It's not enough to just say what you want to do, but how are you going to do it? What are some skills that you're going to use to do that? Think about that. Now, let's put it all together. After you discover, let's just say you put it all together and you discover what your purpose is, right? There's another step that I want you to take. The next thing I want you to do to solidify what you've discovered about yourself, to solidify that your discovery of your purpose, I want you to write it out. I want you to write out a personal vision statement for yourself. Write out a mission statement for yourself, right? Just write it out, just like a mission statement. I'm put on this earth to do X, Y, and Z, to help X, Y, and Z, to get results in X, Y, and Z. Whatever it is. Write it out as a mission statement. Write it out like that. And then, after you have that statement, you can just like shorten it up to have like a little one-liner, like a little elevator pitch that you might tell somebody when they ask you who you are, what you do. You can say, I'm a speaker and an author, whatever. I'm a speaker and I'm here to encourage people so that they can live a life of meaning. Whatever it is, right? Or if I'm an author, I write books to help people with whatever it is, right? Just have a little one-liner that you say that you can remember. Something that, and it doesn't need to be complicated. This is something that a 10-year-old should be able to understand because you want it to be able to get in your soul. You want it to be able to just say it just off It should just roll off your tongue. I am this, and I do this because of this. Because what this will do is it will strengthen any decision that you make about your purpose, and it will help you stay focused on your mission. So that's just one way. That's just a way that you can kind of go through those steps and work out finding what your purpose is, finding out what your passions are, right? Now, this is a quote that says, "He who has a why can endure anyhow." I'll say it again. The quote says, "He who has a why can endure anyhow." And if you know what your purpose is, that means you have a why. You know why you exist. You know why you're here. And when you know why, you can overcome any how. See, the thing about it is a lot of people, they try to do things, or they set goals to do certain things, but they're like, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to become a millionaire? How am I going to have a loving relationship? How am I going to have a blessed marriage? How am I going to have a great career? They start thinking about the how. But if you know the why, you can figure out the how. There's so many strategies and ways to do things. You just need to figure out the why. Why am I doing this? Why do I want to be rich? Why do I want to be a millionaire? Why? Why? Is it because I want to be able to be a blessing to other people? Is it because I want to be able to build the kingdom? Is it because I want to be able to help people who are hurting? Is it because I want to be able to, whatever it is? Why? Why? And it's got to be more than just because I just want a lot of money. That's not going to work. Why do you want a lot of money? Who are you going to help? What are you going to do with it? Why? When you know your why, you can figure out the how. So let me ask you, what's your why? Now, let's continue to talk about this awareness thing, because the first step to change is awareness. If you want to change something in your life, the first step is awareness. You need to be aware. And once you're aware, then you can make the necessary changes that you need to make. So let me ask you, do you like what you're doing now? Whatever it is. Whatever it is, do you like what you're doing? Whether it's your job, whether it's the people you're around, whether it's the things that you associate with yourself, like, do you actually like what you're doing right now? Do you like it? And if you don't, what would you like to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Because there's definitely a connection between finding your passion and reaching your potential. You cannot reach your potential until you find your passion. You cannot reach your potential until you find your purpose. So what do you want to do? Because when you find your passion will give you energy, and it'll also cause you to work in a spirit of excellence. Because here's the thing, you will never really fulfill your destiny doing stuff that you hate, doing stuff that you don't want to do. Like you can't really truly be fulfilled doing things that you hate doing. Like you wake up every day like, ugh. Like you can never be fulfilled like that. Never. And so knowing yourself and knowing what you want to do is one of the most important things that you can do in your life. That's one of the most important things in this life. Knowing yourself and knowing what you want to do is so important. Now, let's say this. Let's say that you find out what you want to do, right? Or you think you know what you want to do. The next thing you got to ask yourself is, can I actually do this? Like, can you actually do what you want to do? Can you actually do it? Because here's the thing. There's so many people who want to do something, but they can't physically do it. Like, you might say something like, oh, I want to play in the NBA. But can you physically play in the NBA? Like, can you actually do that? Like, so you got to be real about this. Like, you got to find out, and you got to have some sort of criteria to know that if something that you desire to do doesn't match your abilities. Like, do you actually have ability in that thing that you want to do? And you got to know the difference between what you want to do and what you're good at. Because you can want to do a lot of things. I want to do a lot of things. I want to be a singer, but I can't sing. Like, I want to be able to sing because I like music. I like music and I love the idea of singing. And so I wish I can sing, but I can't sing. And so no matter how bad I wanna be a singer, I can't sing. I can't sing a tune to save my life. And so I have to be real about that thing. I got to be real about it, knowing that, look, that's just not what I'm going to do in this life. God didn't call me to be a singer, because I love music and I wish I can sing, but I just don't have the physical ability to sing. And so that does not, my skills don't line up with what I want. So I got to cut my losses and pick something else. So you got to know that. And the next thing, like, do you know what drives you? Like, what are the things that drive you? You got to know that. And then what are your values? Like, what are some things that you value? And like I said, I spoke about this earlier about the why. You got to know why. Even once you find out what you want to do, you got to know why you want to do it. Like, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do it? Like, what is the reason? That's important to know, because knowing why you want to do something is going to help you when things get hard. Even when you find out what you're made to do, even when you know what your purpose is, you got to know why. Because here's the thing: when life gets hard, when that thing gets hard, you're going to want to give up if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. So that's why why is important. Because when you know why, it'll give you strength to carry on those days when it's just tough. Those days when you just want to give up. So even when you find out what you want to do, you still got to know what to do what you want to do. You need to know the steps you need to take to do what it is that you want to do in life. Whatever it is. Whatever it is you want to do in life, you need to know what you need, the steps you need to take. And so you need to have awareness. The number one thing is having awareness. Because like I said, you need to know where you are in order to get to where you want to be. The second thing is you got to take action. You have to take action. It's not enough to just know. You need to take action. Because you cannot win if you don't start. And a lot of the people who get ahead in life are the people who look at their circumstances and they try to find the circumstances that they want. They don't just settle for the circumstances that they got. They go and try to look for the circumstances that they want. And if they can't find them, they make them. They make their circumstances. And that's what you got to do. You got to take action. Another thing you do is you got to have some accountability. Have some accountability. Whether it's having a mentor or somebody in your life that you tell, somebody you trust. Because let me say this. You can't tell everybody your dreams. You can't tell everybody your plans. Because everybody is not for you. So have some people in your life that you can be accountable to, that you can tell, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. This is what I'm trying to do. And those people can hold you accountable. They can check on you and say, did you do what you're supposed to do? Did you do this? Did you do this? Right? Did you start writing the book? Yeah. Did you start, are you saving the money? Are you doing your budget? People like that in your life that can hold you accountable. And if you don't have nobody in your life, which you should get somebody in your life, but if you don't have nobody in your life, at the least thing you can do is write down things, like writing things down and say, I will do this, this, and this. Because even your plans that you wrote down can hold you accountable. Like you can look and say, I wrote it down. You can be accountable even by that if you just, as a last resort, just being accountable by what you actually wrote down. Something that you look at every day, and that can keep you accountable. And I want to say this. Now this is a deep question. This is a serious question. The question is, once you know who you are, once you know what you want to do, the question is this: will you pay the price to do what you want to do, or to continue to do what you want to do? Like, will you pay the price? Will you pay the price? Will you make the sacrifices that need to be made? Will you pay the price? Because every level that you go up, there's a trade-off. There's either a trade-off for your time, for your money, for something. You're going to give something. Are you willing to pay the price to do what you want to do, to get what you want to get, in order to achieve some of the things that you want to achieve? Are you willing to pay the price? That's a question that you got to ask yourself. And you got to be willing to find out, like, are you willing to pay the price? Now, there's a quote that says, and you probably heard this quote before, that says, there are two great days in a person's life: the day that they were born and the day you find out why. That's significant, because when you find out why you were born, that's like a second birth. Finding out why you were born. That's major. And so that's all about having awareness. Once you have awareness of who you are and where you're going, you can be like that third group of people and live a life of fulfillment. Now, if you like what you heard today, you might want to check out a video I did with Kat Sterling, and we talk about the keys to winning in life and how to succeed. Now, if you want to watch that video, just click or tap the screen, and I'll see you in the next video.